Good evening, and thank you so much for being here at the HOPE-A-THON with us, benefiting New Hope for Families. We are really excited to have you tonight, as well as all of our performers, but really want to introduce myself real quick. My name is Seth Seaton. Some of you may recognize me, but most of you probably won't, even though you've been at New Hope events in the past. I am typically the MC for New Hope fundraising events. I'm just dressed a little differently tonight, and that is because we haven't been to a party in 18 months. And so we decided when we were going to host a telethon, well, let's have an 80s telethon in the heyday of Jerry Lewis standing on his feet for days on end. We want to have some fun with it. And so we're here to have fun with you. Really appreciate you being here with us. But really, we're here to raise money for the good work they do at New Hope for Families. And tonight you can give in a multitude of ways. You're looking at the bottom of your screen at the phone number 855-529-6656, where you will get one of our live in-person phone operators that we will introduce to you later on in the program. You can also text New Hope to 202-858-1233 to give, or you can go to the website newhopeforfamilies.org to donate, as well as see the things that they're doing right now. Without further ado, our goal tonight is going to be to raise $50,000, and we are dependent upon you at home to do that. We'll have some matching segments that we'll tell you about later with community support. I hear the phones going right now. Thank you. Start calling. The lines are open. Give us a call. Give as you can. Here we go. Well, our goal is $50,000. On Give Butter, you'll see that we've raised a little over $7,000 so far from donations as you are registering. We also have some sponsors that we'd like to thank who have donated to us tonight. And that includes Tassus, who has donated $1,500. John Bethel Title Company, Best Home Furnishings, Innovative Financial Solutions, and Todd Whitlock Dentistry are all $1,000 sponsors for us. And ISU, the May Agency, has generously donated an additional $500. So we are starting with a good base, but we need you to be successful and take us over the top. And I'll let Emily Pike, the director of New Hope for Families, tell you a little bit more about the cause you're donating to.
Thank you so much, Seth, and thank you all for being here with us tonight. My name is Emily Pike, and I am the executive director of New Hope for Families. We are so glad you're here with us. You know, it's been a crazy year, and this is a bit of a crazy thing for us to do, but we have had a lot of fun putting it together. We hope you'll have fun with us too. We hope you'll have at least as much fun participating as we did planning. I'll tell you what, for me, the hair and the makeup alone made it quite a lot of fun. You know, aside from the fun parts of this evening, and we promise there'll be plenty, we're all here to support New Hope for Families. As many of you know, New Hope helps families impacted by homelessness, and we do that in a lot of ways, and you're going to hear a lot about how that always looks and how it's looked different this year. But the important thing is, just like always, we keep families together through the crisis of homelessness, and we let families decide for themselves who's in their family. We do that for a couple of reasons. The first is we believe that families are stronger together. And the second is we believe that all families deserve a safe place to sleep. You know, we're so proud to be part of the Bloomington community that shares those values. This is a community where families don't have to be separated to receive services and where no family has to sleep outside. Year after year, this community, you, the people watching, and your friends and your families and our local officials have supported this mission, have supported New Hope, and have answered the call to be there for families when they need us most. Next, we're going to hear from some of our local celebrities, some of our local leaders about the reasons that they support New Hope for Families. And here to introduce those celebrities is singer-songwriter Grace Minnick. Grace Minnick is an Indiana musician and recording artist. She's especially known for her original songs that tell kind of quirky and really detailed stories. Her band recently won a Battle of the Bands here in Bloomington. You can find her music at graceminnick.com. You can follow her on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, probably some other places if you look around enough. She's one of my favorites, and we're so pleased she's here with us tonight. Without further ado, Grace Minnick.
Hello, my name is Grace Minnick, and I'm a singer-songwriter from Fort Wayne, Indiana. I support New Hope for Families, and I ask that you donate anything you're able to right now to also support these families.
Back home again in Indiana, and it seems that I can see the gleaming candlelight still shining bright through the sycamores for me.
Hey everyone, my name is Tom Morris. I'm the Director of Athletic Performance here at Indiana University. I want to talk to you today about an organization called New Hope for Families. Did you know that New Hope for Families is one of the only shelters in our region that doesn't discriminate against a family makeup? And what I mean is the single moms or the single dads or whatever the configuration is of the family, as long as there is at least one child present, they're welcomed.
Hi, I'm Jason Wilbur. As a professional musician, I've spent many years touring around the world, but I always love coming back home to Bloomington. Agencies like New Hope for Families are one of the things that make Bloomington so special. New Hope for Families is helping to break the cycle of homelessness and poverty in this small town we all love.
Hi, I'm Lori Burns McRobbie, and I'm proud to be a supporter of New Hope. It's the only shelter in the region that keeps families together and doesn't discriminate based on family makeup. Families are families, and New Hope changes lives. New Hope's early childhood programming is nationally accredited, ensuring that children enter kindergarten ready to succeed. We give the best care and education to the children who need it most and get it least.
Hi, this is Bloomington Mayor John Hamilton, and I want to thank you all for answering the call, and I'm glad to be with you. City Hall works very hard on affordable housing and helping create new housing, helping push grants out the door, but one of the most important things we get to do is partner with great collaborative entities like New Hope for Families. Many of us don't think about families when we think about people experiencing homelessness, but far too many are families and children. New Hope for Families embraces every kind of family. They make sure that children in our community don't go through homelessness and get quickly into housing. They do a fantastic job with their commitment to helping kids and families. Kids get the good schooling they need, the nutrition, childcare, so many good programs that are run there. On behalf of the whole community of Bloomington, thank you to New Hope for Families for answering the call, and I hope all of you will pay close attention to what they do and help them in the way they are so good at making Bloomington a better place for everyone. Thanks so much, New Hope for Families.
I support New Hope for Families, and I hope you all will too.
I support New Hope for Families, and I hope you will too. Thank you.
I support New Hope for Families, and I hope you do too.
When I dream about the moonlight on the warpath, how I long for my Indiana home.
Thank you, Grace, and all of our Bloomington community rock stars who are setting the example by letting you know the reasons they support New Hope for Families. Thank you to those of you who have been calling in. Where the phones have been ringing, we've been taking donations. Please don't stop. Continue to call 855-529-6656 on the bottom of your screen. You can go to the website newhopeforfamilies.org or text New Hope to 202-858-1233, where you can talk to any number of our lovely and terribly fun telephone operators, of which you get to meet one right now. Ashley Dawson is here with us, and she is one of our telephone operators that you'll get to talk to if you call in and donate tonight. And Ashley, did you know, I didn't know this, I just found out the other day that John Cougar Mellencamp was born in Indiana. Did you know that?
I think I did know that. That's crazy.
Oh, I thought that was so cool that a fellow Hoosier is so instrumental in current 80s music.
Pink Houses is my new favorite song.
Oh my goodness, I love that.
Just came out last week.
Outstanding. I'm going to have to check that out. But Ashley, so you're here on behalf of the Eye Center of Southern Indiana, who is one of our matching sponsors this evening. And for those of you at home, we're going to have several matching segments here throughout the program where we have organizations that have said we are going to match dollar for dollar the donations you receive in the next 10 minutes. The Eye Center of Southern Indiana has agreed to match dollar for dollar up to $5,000 if you at home will call in. You can give via the website or by texting New Hope to 202-858-1233. Any way you donate will count toward the $5,000 match. And Ashley, would you mind giving us just a little bit of insight as to why the Eye Center of Southern Indiana supports New Hope for families like they do?
Well, yes, I could. Once I learned about the great organization and what it does for our local community, at the Eye Center, we just felt like we really needed to support this great cause. The way that they bridge the gap between homelessness and getting people back on their feet is just amazing. And we also really think it's great how much they support children and provide for them during is sometimes a rough time in their life. So we just think it's a really wonderful thing to do for our community.
I couldn't have said it any better. Now let's help during this next 10-minute matching segment. The Eye Center of Southern Indiana is going to match dollar for dollar up to $5,000. So I want to start hearing that phone ring right now. Get in there, call 855-529-6656, newhopeforfamilies.org, or text New Hope to 202-858-1233. I promise I'm going to wear all of that out before the end of the night. But next up, we have a video made by The Roof called Answering the Call. And they want to let you know a little bit about why we're answering your calls to help these families.
The Roof at New Hope shelters families with children who would otherwise be street homeless, sleeping outside or in a car. We can welcome 7 families at a time across our 2 shelter houses. Families bunk in a private bedroom and share common kitchens, bathrooms, and dining spaces with other residents. We provide all the essentials like hygiene supplies, on-site laundry, and a fully equipped kitchen so families can care for their children and focus on their goals. Families who stay under the roof have one thing in common: they need housing for their families. So success for us means that our residents find affordable leases in their name and move out of shelter. Over 80% of our residents do. Families who stay with us move into new leases much faster and more often than state averages because we combine the stability of our safe, well-equipped shelter with a professional case management staff that focuses on housing as a first priority.
Just like before the pandemic, the Roof provides a safe place for families to stay together in shelter. We gathered PPE, sanitized the houses each day, and helped our residents understand how to prevent the virus spread. Once we addressed our immediate needs to operate the shelter safely, we looked outward to the high demand for shelter. To expand capacity and provide safe physical distance, we struck a partnership with a local extended stay motel, Home 2 Suites, to accommodate more families and provide physical distance among our residents. Our staff recruited a team of volunteers to help transport food and other essentials to families across our homes and to the hotel.
Though we doubled the number of families we serve and faced many challenges in the past year, just like always, we move families from homelessness to housing. Just like always, we follow up with families to ensure their long-term success. Just like always, we answered the call.
This is New Hope. Will you answer the call with us?
Thank you, Seth, and thank you so much to our dedicated and talented shelter team for answering the call in ways we never could have predicted and were certainly unprecedented, and in many ways, in ways that we didn't even think were possible 1 year ago. You know, when this pandemic hit, we really didn't know what to expect. In a lot of ways, the world kind of seemed to slow down. You know, I don't know if you can remember because it seems like so long ago, but I certainly remember looking at friends' social media pages and people talking about how bored they were and how they'd learned to make bread, and probably they would master French pastries before the end of the pandemic. I can promise you that is not what it was like at the roof. At the roof, when everything else in the world seemed to slow down, the roof sped up. You know, we have been dedicated to making sure that no family sleeps outside. And when this pandemic hit, we thought, gosh, can we continue to do that? And then we looked around and we talked to our community partners and said, can we not do that? Because the truth is, if we don't answer the call, who's going to? And once again, this community stepped up. It stepped up by helping us double our capacity. I want to make that really clear for a moment. Doubled our capacity very quickly. And that's thanks to the dedicated work of this team, to the support of this community, and all kinds of local partners, our local government, our local United Way, and lots of people in this community who stepped up to say they were here and they wanted to make sure that no one fell through the cracks. You know, in a normal year, we shelter about 35 families at New Hope. This year, March to March, which is not how we usually count, but this year, March to March, we have sheltered almost 70 families, 69 families as of today. That is a shocking number, and it is very nearly double the number we would expect to serve. We wouldn't have been able to do that without this local community, but it was so important to you, and it's so important to these families that we made sure, with your help, that no family got left behind during this already scary and anxious and unprecedented time. Even more impressive, even with those almost doubled numbers, more than 80% of families continued to transition out into stable housing. That compares to a state average of just over 50%. So impressive, and it's all due to the hard work of that team. We're so proud of the work they do, and we're so privileged to be able to stand with families in the moment when they need us most. You know, a lot of times when we think about homelessness, we tend to think about really obvious faces of homelessness, maybe people in the parks or people holding signs, but the truth is, here in our local community, almost 40% of people impacted by homelessness are families with children. And that's why it's so important that we are always there to answer the call. And this year, it was more important than ever. I'm really happy that the next artist that we're going to hear from is Clayton Anderson. Clayton's going to be singing a song that feels particularly appropriate right now. It's a song it's called Right Where I Belong. And it's about home, and it's about belonging, and that's exactly what we're about at New Hope. We're all about helping families find a place to belong because of you, and it's why we're so happy to have Clayton as a supporter. For those of you who may not know, Clayton is a singer and a songwriter from Bedford, Indiana. He's a country artist, because that's how we do it in Lawrence County. He is so talented, and in fact, he's so talented, he won Kenny Chesney's Next Big Star Battle of the Bands, and the very next night, he was opening for country superstar Kenny Chesney. You can catch him on St. George Street in Indianapolis during those Bud Light outdoor concert series associated with the Colts games. You can also catch him around March Madness tomorrow night, and again on April 2nd before the Final Four. And if you're up for it, you can catch him on April 10th here in Bloomington at the Bluebird. We're so pleased to have him with us tonight, Clayton Anderson.
Hey everybody, my name's Clayton Anderson. I'm a hillbilly singer from Bedford, Indiana. Appreciate y'all supporting New Hope tonight. This is a little song of mine called Right Where I Belong. Same old farm, same old dirt road drive. Same old creek got drunk 1,000 times. Same old spot where I dropped this blanket on the ground and get that same old kiss that I can't live without. Oh, I'm right where I belong. Got a good thing going on. It ain't sun. Girl, you take my breath in that almost see-through cotton dress. The same old, don't get no better than this. Somebody make some noise out there, y'all, tonight. Come on! Right where I belong. Got a good thing going on. But it ain't no sweeter easy go. Ain't no softer summer breeze. Ain't no place I'd rather call home. Oh, I'm right where I belong. Yes, I'm right where I belong. That's right. Thank y'all very much.
Hey, welcome back. Thank you so much, Clayton, for that performance. We really appreciate your support. Please make sure that you support those performers that are supporting New Hope for Families. We are really, really appreciative of everything that they have provided for us to help make tonight possible for you. Now, I've got some really exciting news because we have just got a couple minutes left in our matching segment. And we have gotten some substantial donations. Our telephone operators have been working round the clock. And we've got a couple of donations that we'd like to make sure that you know about. First, Craig Luganbill. Thank you so much, Craig, for your $500 donation. He called in. He got a chance to talk to John Herlow. Call in, see who gets you. We also have Liz McCrae. Liz is such a strong supporter of New Hope, along with all of our donors. But Liz called in with a $1,000 donation as well. And so we look forward to really getting the opportunity to show you how much support we're seeing. Now, as a total, we've got 1 minute left in our matching segment. And right now, we are at $30,000. We are well on our way toward reaching our goal, and you help us exceed our goal every year. For those of you who come to New Hope events regularly, you know as well as I do that those people who support New Hope really pride themselves on not only matching the goals that Emily and her staff set for these events, but exceeding them, and exceeding them by miles. We look forward to hopefully being able to do so tonight, and we are well on our way. Now, I am going to take a second here to introduce you to another one of our telephone operators, Chris Cockrum. And Chris has been answering calls for you. His company, Cockrum Commercial, is also going to be, they're going to have their own matching segment here in a moment. As we've got 3 seconds left in our $5,000 match. Get those phone calls in right now. Get those donations in, because we're about to start the Cockrum Commercial matching segment. Cockrum Commercial is going to match up to $2,500 worth of your donations that you make. Sherry, do I hear something over there? Do we have a major donation that just came in from the phones? This is so bodacious. Oh my goodness. Roger Lee, thank you so much, Roger, for not only watching tonight, but supporting New Hope with your $1,000 donation. And if Roger's donation hadn't put us over the edge, I can tell you Susan Fusen, her donation most certainly did. She called in. She wanted to match herself with a $5,000 donation. Thank you so much, Susan. This is going to go. Now, please don't think you have to make a huge donation by calling in. Call and give what makes sense. Around my house, whenever we were growing up, we always said we can't always afford to be extravagant, but we can always afford to be generous. And what I would challenge you to do tonight is to think about the way that you feel now in this challenging time. You're likely at home, enjoying the safety, the comfort of your home. New Hope for Families is working diligently to try and make sure that the families they serve, their clients, are able to find a home as well, and you are a significant part of making that happen. So, without further ado, I'm going to let Chris Cockrum tell you a little bit about why Cockrum Commercial finds New Hope for Families to be a really important cause worth supporting.
Great, thank you, Seth. I believe in New Hope's mission. New Hope is the only shelter in the region that keeps families together. I've been in the real estate business now for almost 30 years, and I've been a realtor. New Hope's mission aligns exactly with our mission as realtors, and that is to help families find a home. With every dollar that I give, every time I donate my time, I feel confident that these dollars and the efforts that are made are to keep families together and finding them stable housing. Plus, I have a blast working with the New Hope leadership. They've got an incredible board. They've got rock star volunteers. I feel like I get to work with the very best of the best on a very great cause. That's why I donate my time.
It is a great cause, and that's why we're seeing so much support from you folks at home. Please continue to send your donations in one of three ways. You can call in, talk to one of our telephone operators, just like Chris, at 855-529-6656. Texting New Hope to 202-858-1233, or you can go to the website newhopeforfamilies.org and donate there. For the next 10 minutes, Cochran Commercial is going to match your donations dollar for dollar, $2,500 for the next 10 minutes, and we've already seen that you can do it. So call in, text in, go to the website, help support these folks who help support families. And our next performer, local Grammy Award-winning American opera singer Sylvia McNair. In addition to being a two-time Grammy Award winner, Sylvia McNair was invited to perform at the Vatican for the Pope on his 80th birthday celebration. She sang for Hillary Clinton, and she was invited by Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, the first female Supreme Court justice confirmed in the 80s. She got to sing at the Supreme Court at her invitation. Without further ado, Sylvia McNair.
Hi, I'm Sylvia McNair. One of my favorite things to do is practice yoga. In my yoga class, there's a word that we use every session. Sometimes we use it as a greeting, sometimes it's a farewell, and sometimes we use it in a moment of gratitude. It's an old Sanskrit word, it's thousands of years old. Namaste. Namaste. I asked my yoga instructor what it means, and she said, well, the closest we can get in English is the divine light in me sees and honors the divine light in you. We all have divine light in us. Sometimes we're not strong enough or brave enough to let it shine. I don't even want to admit how old I was before I was courageous enough to really let my light shine. I try to do that every moment now because I believe that my God gave it to me, and I want to share it in any way I can.
Thank you, Sylvia, so much for that touching version of This Little Light of Mine. Please, as we're still in our matching segment number 2, please continue to call 855-529-6656. I hear somebody's listening. NewHopeForFamilies.org through the website, or you can text New Hope to 202-858-1233. I'd like to take a second to introduce some of the staff, some of the people who have made this evening possible. And I would like to start on the left with Andy Canada. She is our producer this evening for HOPE-A-THON. She's also the creative director at First United Methodist Church. We're really appreciative for Andy providing her talents to help guide us through this evening. We also have Sherry Dunbar Cruzan, and she is the vice president of the New Hope for Families board. She also, many of you probably recognize her. She has a tendency to serve as our Vanna White, as our beautiful assistant. Tom Atkinson, Tom is busy answering your calls. So we want to thank you for continuing to call, continuing to make those donations. Tom Atkinson, Tom is the development assistant at New Hope for Families, and he helps keep us all in line. Amy Stolberg, she is a New Hope board member, a volunteer, a member of the events committee, and she really has a passion for these events, these fundraising events. She does a phenomenal job, and I always enjoy getting a chance to work with her and the entire team. We also have Sarah Prokai, who is our Kelly School of Business graduate board fellow, and she really helps us with getting an opportunity to rethink some of the business decisions that are being made and make sure that we are making every dollar that you're donating this evening and every evening as effective as it possibly can be. So please, thank you to all of those at New Hope who make tonight possible and their mission possible of connecting families, getting families home. We are really, really excited. Continue to call in, continue to donate, because we're still in the middle of our matching segment. But next, you're going to hear a little bit from the children at the Nest and why we're here answering your calls to help them.
Early on, New Hope realized that affordable, accessible childcare was a key factor in successful move-outs because families who experience homelessness often have young children, too young to enroll in public school. When that happens, it's hard for a family to find a job that pays enough to be able to afford the high cost of childcare. That's why we created a high-quality childcare program called the Nest at New Hope. The Nest provides full-day care, education, meals, and support to children ages birth through 5 and their families in a mixed income cohort. In 2017, the Nest achieved national accreditation, a distinction shared by only a small percentage of childcare programs in Indiana. The first 5 years of a child's life are so important. Research tells us that a child's experiences during these years lay a foundation for future learning, memory development, and executive functioning. It also tells us that responsive caregiving practices can buffer the negative effects of toxic stress. The Nest Skilled Teaching Team creates warm, engaging classrooms that are designed to nurture the growth and development of each child through hands-on experiences with high-quality learning materials, art supplies, and books. Our Plot to Tot gardening and cooking curriculum allows children the opportunity to develop literacy, math, and science skills while growing, harvesting, cooking, and eating their own produce. Yummy. We provide large blocks of playtime indoors and outdoors, which allow for children to experiment, create, play, climb, and explore. But most importantly, we strive to develop warm, nurturing relationships with our students and their incredible families.
Can you say that with your nice school sound?
It's for you. New Hope needs your help. Can you answer the call? New Hope, I love you, and my family does too.
Thank you so much to the kids from the Nest for working on that great video for us and showing us a little bit about your school. I know some of them are watching this evening, so thank you for all your hard work. preparing that video for us. And thank you especially to our team of talented and dedicated teachers at the Nest. You know, this year there has been a lot of talk about frontline workers and how much we owe them and how grateful we are. And a lot of times teachers are included in that, as they very well should be. We've learned a lot of things about the people that we sometimes take for granted this year. But the truth is, even in those conversations, sometimes early childhood teachers aren't considered in the same way. They get left out. And I want to tell you a little something about that. These are folks who are dedicated, they're folks who are professionals, and in a moment when many of us, myself included, had the privilege to do our work, or the majority of our work, from the safety of our homes, these dedicated professionals showed up every day to do the joyful, for sure, but also exhausting work of caring for tiny humans who are too small to wear masks. Many of them can barely count to 6, let alone understand what 6 feet of distance is. Nonetheless, these teachers showed up every day to make sure that these kids were cared for and to make sure that their parents could go back to work if they were able to and if they needed to. This is something that's so important. For many of these families, this makes the difference between homelessness and stability, is having access to that childcare. You know, in April, there was one moment when not one single adult living in our shelter was able to go to work. That's crazy when you think about it. But of course, the folks who work in, or who live in our shelter are likely to work in fields that really struggled this year, hospitality or service industries, and those folks were hit hard. So when the stay-at-home order was lifted and folks had the opportunity to go back to work, it was more important than ever that we were able to provide the care and support that they needed so that they could do the things that they needed to do for their families to move them through homelessness and into stability. Also, for families who'd recently transitioned from homelessness, that could have been a moment that they fell back over that cliff. And New Hope was there to catch them at the roof with caring services to make sure that they had what they needed, and at the Nest to make sure that their kids were cared for so they could do what they needed to do. You know, one of the things that people sometimes don't realize is that in this country, you are more likely to experience homelessness in the first year of your life than at any other time. I'm going to give you a moment with that because it's really impactful and it's really heartbreaking. But it's also why it's so important that we are able to meet these families where they are and provide the care and support that they really, really need. This is a time when we understand that children learn a lot, and it's a moment when we need to be giving them the best care and support possible. You know, on the first day of kindergarten, a low-income child is likely to have heard 30 million fewer words than a middle-income peer. At New Hope, we don't think that's acceptable. And that's why our early childhood program is more than just daycare. It's a time when we want families and we want children to be getting the best care that's possible for them so that they are ready for school and they are ready to be the members of their families to break the cycle of homelessness and poverty. It's so important. It's almost impossible to overstate the importance of it. When we think about that and the impact it makes in combination with the services that we offer in our shelter, it's part of the reason we're so successful at helping families move through homelessness into lasting stability. So we're so grateful to those team members, just like the team members at our shelter who have worked tirelessly this year to make sure that no family and no child got left behind or fell through the cracks. I want to share with you, I got some news while we were watching that video about a few donations, and I want to share those with you. The first one is from a generous donor, Gail Tissue. Gail Tissue called all the way from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with a gift of $1,000. Thank you so much, Gail. You know, one of the things that I'm really excited about tonight, some of you are familiar with a gala that we sometimes have at this time of year. And I'm sad not to be sitting down and having a fancy dinner with y'all, but I'm also really excited that we get to welcome people like Gail, who might not be able to make the trip into town just for dinner, but who can tune in from all across the country. We have been getting calls from people near and far this evening, so keep them coming. We're so happy to have you. Another donation I want to tell you about is from Paul Quick. Paul Quick's a member of our board, and he's also the CEO of the Smithville Group. We are Smithville Fiber, excuse me. We are so pleased to have his gift this evening. He is a wonderful supporter of this agency, and we're thrilled to have him. Last gift that I want to share is from Sarah Knott. And Sarah Knott called with a $200 gift this evening. And that is because Sarah's son Varick, this is made in his honor, and Varick turned 9 today. Varick has been one of our strongest and most stalwart supporters, and he has done things for us like many children in our community. Varick has had art shows. Varick has shared his own artwork with us. Varick has shared old toys, and he has hosted a book drive for us, just like many of you. And we're pleased to have him as one of our youngest supporters, although not as young as he was yesterday. Happy birthday, Varick. Guys, thank you so much for the progress that we've made so far. I'm really excited to see what our numbers look like. These gifts are completely overwhelming, and we're so grateful. Seth, what do we know?
Emily, I have an update for you. I am so excited to tell you that we have reached $45,000 thanks to our generous donors. Thanks to our generous donors. And that also is going to require Cochran Commercial to donate $2,500 and match your generosity. Now, I must ask you to continue to donate because it is so important. Something that Emily doesn't have a tendency to talk about that I'm going to talk about for her is how hard her and the team at New Hope works. On an average year, New Hope supports and helps 35 client families with any multitude of things they may need, between, as you've heard, child care to finding a home, finding a permanent place, finding gainful employment. This last year, right, we were all challenged in having to stay inside of our own bubbles for the safety of us and those around us. New Hope and those at New Hope didn't have that option. They had to serve nearly twice as many families, and they didn't have to, they wanted to. They discussed it with each other, and they said, what happens if we don't serve these families who need us right now more maybe than they ever have? And so please, make that phone ring. Use that number at the bottom of your screen. Use the website, text New Hope to 202-858-1233, because even though you are going to awe me with your generosity yet again, we need you to continue to support New Hope for Families and the cause that they serve. And I've also got 2 more matching segments that you've got to help us meet. So I want to introduce one of our other telephone operators, John Herlo of Herlo Wealth Management. And John is here to tell you a little bit about why Herlo Wealth Management and he personally believe in the mission of New Hope for Families.
Sure. Thanks. After being introduced to New Hope, one of the first things I did was took a tour of the facilities, obviously pre-COVID. And the nest was one of the things that was the most touching to me. We all know that for children, one of the most important phases of life is that 0 to 5 time frame. And the nest gives these children an opportunity to attend an accredited school with some amazing teachers. And all the kids are given breakfast and lunch and meals and snacks. And this also allows the parents to be able to, go to work and work more than they may have otherwise been able to, and know that the kids are being taken care of in a loving atmosphere and being taught by amazing teachers. It's such an awesome part of New Hope, and I hope you'll join us.
It really is. Thank you so much, John, and thank you to Herlo Wealth Management. Now, for the next 10 minutes, John is going to match dollar for dollar up to $2,500 of your donation. So please continue to make that phone ring. Call 855-529-6656. Give through the website newhopeforfamilies.org, or text New Hope to 202-858-1233. We're also really appreciative of your support. You continue to awe us with your generosity. Please keep the phone lines ringing. We are in the middle of a matching segment. Herlo Wealth Management is matching up to $2,500, so get those phones ringing at 855-529-6656. You'll get to talk with Ashley, John, or Chris, all of which you've met tonight. If you are just joining us, you're going to notice that I have gone a little back in the day with my wardrobe, and we really appreciate you joining in when you have. We, as I mentioned earlier in the program, we have not been in public for a long time, and we probably shouldn't be in general, but we decided that we wanted to dress up as if we were in the heyday of telethons, and we are dressed in our 80s attire to entertain you at home while you also enjoy the performances and you donate, and we hear about all the good work that New Hope for Families is doing. I get the opportunity regularly to come and MC for these events, but I don't always get the opportunity to talk as much about what New Hope means to me. And New Hope not only is Emily, my sister, whom I love and adore dearly, and really I admire the passion that she has. You hear it when she speaks to you. You hear it, you see it whenever you see her interact with the children and the families that they support. And you notice it with every staff member that you interact with. They are here because they're passionate about the work they're doing. They're passionate for the cause of helping families get home. And you're helping us get them home tonight through your donations. So please, take note of the numbers at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to tell them to you again just to wear you out with them. 855-529-6656 is where you can call and talk to one of our in-person telephone operators. You can go to the website, newhopeforfamilies.org. You can text New Hope to 202-858-1233. Folks, we have other generous donors here that we want to recognize who have called in during this matching segment. Bill and Mary Ann Jones very generously donated, and we are very appreciative of your support. As well as Keith Bobay, he's a retired teacher and a New Hope volunteer. He donated $1,500. So Herlo Wealth Management is going to have to match $2,500. Without further ado, though, I'm going to introduce to you an Indiana legendary group, Another Round, formerly known as Straight No Chaser. According to their website, they are the premier a cappella group on Indiana's campus, most of whom are single. And that humor that they have on their website and their simple description of themselves, you find in their performances. They have performed for us in the past, and hopefully you've had the opportunity to enjoy that. This is a pre-recorded session that they have allowed us to use to entertain you tonight. Without further ado, Another Round.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. I'm Jewish. That saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to feel, and grace, oh, my fears relieved. How precious, oh, did that grace the hour I first believed. Through many dangers shoulders, oh, toss and stand. I have already come. His grace has brought me safe thus far, and grace, His grace will lead me home, lead me home, lead me home.
Thank you so much to Another Round. As you can see, they are a lively, fun group. We really appreciate their support here at New Hope for Families. I also need to make a special shout out to some donors out there who are watching with Mom tonight. My daughters Eloise, Olivia, and Sophia have called in with a donation, and we greatly appreciate your support. And you better be good for Mom, because Dad will be home soon. Here we go. Hey, we have another matching segment coming up for you here with Ruoff Mortgage. Ruoff Mortgage is going to donate. They're going to match up to $2,500. This is our last matching segment of the night, but it is not your last opportunity to give or the last time you should give. We want to see your donations rolling in all the way through. And looks like we may have a very holy cow. Folks, you have helped us exceed the goal. We have now reached $56,000, and we still have a half an hour. We still have a half an hour of fundraising. I'd love to see us continue to raise, and Ruoff Mortgage here, as I mentioned, is going to match during this next 10 minutes. They're going to match up to $2,500 in donations. We are so appreciative of our matching donors, the Eye Center of Southern Indiana, Herlo Wealth Management, Cochran Commercial, and Ruoff Mortgage. We are so appreciative of their continued support. So please continue to call, continue to give. 855-529-6656 is the phone number you can call and talk to one of our live telephone operators. NewHopeForFamilies.org can accept your donations, or you can text us New Hope to 202-858-1233. Now, our next video is going to be an interview with a client of New Hope's. This is a video that is impactful beyond measure to hear the story of those who New Hope serves, who they help find their way home.
My name is Amy. I came in contact with New Hope about 4.5 years ago. I found the daycare, and all of my kids have attended so far. I went into the shelter. I've been in the shelter, the roof, twice already. The first time I was kind of leaving an abusive relationship and didn't have anywhere to go. The staff at the daycare was like, well, we have, the shelter we're connected to. So I went in there and we did really good. I got to move out. We had our own place. And then I became an alcoholic. I was really addicted to it and went back in the shelter. They gave me another chance. It was very encouraging the whole time. They got me connected to local apartments, helped me kind of navigate stuff and just make decisions to help me get more independent, and to get out and get stable. So I don't know, I quit drinking, and if I didn't have their support, I wouldn't be where I am. So I've started college, and in January, I'll have earned my associate's degree in medical assisting. My favorite thing about New Hope is the dedication of the staff at the roof and at the nest, because they really care. I've not really seen community organizations like that really care, or teachers so dedicated that they really care. The staff at the roof and the nest are pretty much like my family for me and my kids. My mom is sick with cancer, so they are our family here in Bloomington, and there's a staff at the roof that we see, and my kids call her grandma. So it's been totally life-changing. So I'm really, really, really grateful.
Wow, thank you so much, Amy, for sharing your powerful and truly impressive story. You know, I've known Amy and her family for a few years now, and every time I talk to her, I feel more impressed by her tenacity and bravery and tremendously hard work. She's so impressive. But you know, Amy and her kids and many other families like her are the reason we're here tonight. We could not ever possibly tell you all the stories of all the families that New Hope has touched even this year, let alone over the past 9.5 years. They're the reason we're here. There's a reason you're calling. And thank you so much. Thank you for your generous support. Thank you for standing here with these families when they need us most. You know, you heard me say a couple of things earlier, and you heard Seth say a couple of things, but I think a few things here bear repeating. So bear with me. One thing that I want to make sure we all remember is that homelessness isn't just something that happens to a certain kind of person. It can happen to any kind of person. And 40% of the people who are homeless in our community are families with children. The other thing I want to talk about is a few years back, we at New Hope committed to a bold vision. The vision was that no family in our community would have to sleep outside, sleep in a car, or sleep any place that wasn't intended for human habitation. It seems like a pretty low bar, but when you understand how many families experience homelessness each year, we didn't know for sure if we'd be able to. But thanks to you, our community, rallied around that vision and stood there with us. And I am happy to say that for a couple of years now, we have achieved what we call, technically, functional zero. Functional zero means that no family is sleeping outside. They're sheltered. It means that we make homelessness as rare and as brief as possible. So that means that when a family becomes homeless, we work quickly to get them out into stable housing. This year's been a little wonky, but most years, the median family stays at New Hope for just over 2 months, something like 65 days. It's a really quick time to turn it around, and it's because of you. And the last thing we want to do is make homelessness non-repeating, so that families get the help they need to make sure that they don't become homeless again. And those are a couple of things that we've really had to amp up this year. This year could have been the moment that all of those things fell apart, but they did not. That's just the kind of community this is. You know, Seth said earlier that we thought about it and we thought, gosh, can we continue to do this through a pandemic? And we did have that conversation, 100%, but the truth is, we never really doubted it. Because once we figured out how to get it done logistically, you, our local community, had already said that you were there to support it. We're able to answer the call because you answered the call. We know that we can count on you to have our backs. We've been doing this for almost 10 years now, and we've learned some things about the character of this community. It's one of the reasons that makes us so proud to be a part of it. You know, it's a little funny that the pandemic's been going on for a year now, because in some ways it feels like it's a lot longer, and in some ways it feels like it's a lot shorter. One thing I can say for sure is that a lot of things are different, but a lot of things are the same. Our community has looked different. Our community has felt different. There's been heightened anxiety. There's been a lot of fear, and there's been a lot of uncertainty. Not just about what's going to happen, but about what's the best thing to do and how do we keep ourselves and our other community members and our neighbors safe. At New Hope, some things look different too. Some of our services looked different. We were doing some things online, we were doing some things remotely, but some things looked exactly the same. Just like always, we welcomed families of all shapes and sizes. Just like always, we offered the best care and education to the kiddos who needed it most. I want to talk a little bit about some things that did expand this year. This year, our dedicated shelter team sprung into action in ways that I cannot even begin to tell you about in this brief time that we have left. But I want to talk about a couple of things. One is food support. So New Hope always offers food support to our clients. But this year we understood that we had some clients who maybe needed more support than ever before. That's because, as I said, we more than doubled our shelter capacity at various points in the year. So those folks needed more support, but we also knew that we had families who had recently moved out, who maybe now didn't have the steady income that they thought was a sure thing when they signed those leases, when they left our shelter. And we wanted to make sure that they didn't fall back into homelessness. So offering food support and ongoing case management were a big part of that. I also want to talk about homelessness prevention. That's something we don't talk enough about, but it's a really big part of homelessness services, and it's something that we are doing at New Hope along with you, our community partners. This year, we've launched a new program to make sure that families for whom homelessness can be prevented, we're able to do that. The best way that we can help families is before they ever set foot in our door. And that's something that we want to be committed to. And we thank you once again for making that possible. You know, New Hope is not quite 10 years old as an agency. And 9 years ago, we could never have imagined offering the level of services, offering the kind of services, offering the breadth of services that we do right now. And we could not do it without you. You are the most important part of what we do here at New Hope. You know, as is so often the case, this pandemic hit hardest the people who could least afford it. But thanks to you, we're here, they're here, and we're all going to come out on the other side. Thank you for being there for them. Thank you for standing in the gap for these families. Thank you for answering the call. Speaking of answering the call, I want to tell you about a couple of other people who have. We got a couple of calls. Barb Foland called from Michigan to make a gift of $500. Barb's a longtime supporter of our agencies in a lot of different ways, and we're so grateful for her gift. I want to say Andy Allard also called. He and his family have made a gift of $1,000. Thank you to Andy and Kim Allard. We're so grateful. Lastly, I want to tell you about the next artist that we have coming up. Our next artist is one of my favorites. Malcolm Daglish is probably our most unique act this evening, and we're happy to bring him to you. Malcolm's a creative soul who loves sharing his very unique instrument, the hammered dulcimer, and his passion for the arts with others. He does that with his camp, Oolation, and he does that through performances and instructional times at schools. He is a longtime friend of the agency, and Malcolm chose tonight a performance that we hope you'll really enjoy. It's whimsical, it's playful, and it really showcases his amazing talent on the hammer dulcimer. And he is accompanied by the fully angelic voices of the Indiana University Children's Choir. Here's Malcolm.
Hi, I'm Malcolm Daglish, a musician and composer. And I am passionate about New Hope because the Nest serves 10,000 nutritious meals to children every year. I know because I volunteer with a collective that grows organic veggies and delivers them to New Hope every week. Swifts is a song I wrote about these remarkable birds who spend the whole day in flight, joyous acrobats, weathering storms without touching the ground, swirling by the hundreds round a chimney, dropping in one by one to sleep at the end of the day. They revel in freedom and shelter and each other, and that's what we wish for all families in our community. I support New Hope for Families, and I hope you will too.
couldn't help myself. I was doing that the entire time the video was playing. It's just too fun a performance. Thank you so much, Malcolm, for providing that performance for us. As you can tell, it was pre-recorded, but Malcolm is such an amazing individual. Some of the work he does with kids, he has a show, the Wild Wild Word Show, where he helps school-age children. He goes into the classrooms and he teaches them how to deal with working out ideas they have, how to troubleshoot problems. It's a really powerful course that he goes into schools and teaches children how to mentally get through difficult thought problems. And if there's anything we've had to do over the last year, 18 months, it's figure out how we're going to operate in this new normal, as are the families that New Hope serves. And they are doing their best to find solace with the team at New Hope. So please continue to call, continue to give. We need to help support these families. We need your donations to help support these families. The staff at New Hope give of their time. The board, as you'll find, as you've seen throughout the evening, they are as invested financially in the cause as they give of their time. And so I want to thank former board members Steve and Pam Dyer for their contribution. Thank you so much, because as part of their contribution and of Mike and Donna Gentile, we have been able to raise over $2,500 for the Ruoff Mortgage Match. So thank you so much to everyone who has donated. We've got about 15 minutes left here in the program where we need you to continue to give, continue to support, continue to call in, please, any amount. You call in, we would love to have you as a donor this evening. And we have two more board members, one who wishes to remain anonymous, one who many of you know, Don Adams. His generosity is well known. And these board members are both standing up. They called in and said, if we don't have a match for the last 15 minutes, I want to challenge the viewers of this program to match. And both of them are going to match dollar for dollar your $2,500. So make your donation count for 3 times the amount, whether it's $5, $10, $25, right? Find the place at where you're able to give and give us a call, because these folks want to help match, but we need your help to do it. So we're looking at a double match segment. You raise $2,500, they're going to donate $5,000 in total. So please give us a call, 855-529-6656. Go to the website, newhopeforfamilies.org, or text New Hope to 202-858-1233. Oh my goodness, we have our lovely Vanna has, Amy's kids, Allie and Sam. Amy Stolberg's kids, Allie and Sam. Thank you for watching the program. Thank you for being $500 donors. You are awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We also want to invite you. You've seen a number of businesses that have supported New Hope. Your business could be a supporter as well. We would love to have you as a part of the team here at New Hope. We have other fundraisers throughout the year that you can support, as well as our annual gala that we hold around Valentine's Day. Call in. You're gonna talk to these individuals that you've met tonight. You're gonna talk to Emily. You're gonna talk to Tom. You're gonna talk to the members, the staff at New Hope, about how your business can be a sponsor of an event and support the good work that they're doing. So please continue to call. I'm hearing the phones light up. Really appreciate your support. Our final performer this evening is going to be a comedian, Stuart Huff. And I'm not trying to let anything out of the bag here, but Stuart is working with us to try to put together an event to support New Hope in the fall. So please keep an eye out for that. But Stuart Huff is a Southern comedian who is known for his humor, the insights he finds in humanity, in the events that occur with every day. And this is a segment that Stuart recorded right here at the Comedy Attic in Bloomington. Make sure you go support him and support them. In just a little excerpt from a piece that he did a few years ago here in Bloomington.
Hi, I'm Stuart Huff. This is my son Towns, and I've known Emily forever, and she's a wonderful person, and you should support New Hope for Families. What do you think?
Support New Hope for Families.
Sometimes I see hope, you know, beautiful hope. I was on the interstate. This entire new show I've written starts with a horrific plane ride and ends with a beautiful car crash. I was on the interstate in Nebraska, very flat, very pretty, you know, driving. And I noticed this guy on the interstate in front of me. He's in the slow lane, so am I. And he started weaving. And I don't mean like he dropped his phone, whoa, that kind of thing. Slowly went to the middle of the interstate, stayed there for a mile or two, and then drifted back, and then drifted to the right a little bit. So I was staying back from this guy's car. I was like, what the hell, you know what I mean? Just keeping an eye on this dude, right? All of a sudden, in the middle, not on an exit, in the middle of a field, his car left the interstate. Like that, right through the field. And I went like that. Because that's what you say when that happens. Right? And I didn't even think at all. I went up to where his car left the interstate. I got out of my car and I just started running. I don't know, I'm just running towards this dude's car. There were 2 people in front of me. There were people behind me. We're all just running, you know. We get there, open the door, 2 grown men in the car, a lot of blood. Blood on the shirt, blood on the dashboard. And we started to get these men out of the car, and someone yelled, don't move them. They might have a neck injury. You're not supposed to move people. So we're just standing there like, what do you do? What do you do? And someone on the other side goes, I smell gasoline. You guys smell gas? Someone went, it's leaking. The gas tank is leaking. Get them out of this car. So we lift these men up, and we carry, you can already hear the ambulances coming. And we're carrying them far away from the car, and we put them down in a field. Ambulances pull up, put both men on stretchers, load them in the ambulance, and take off. And then there's 12 humans just standing there like, how you doing? Very awkward, you know? And then one guy said, I hope they're all right. And that just broke the silence. It was no longer awkward at that moment. We were like, yeah, I hope they're all right too. This guy was breathing. I know, I saw his chest moving up and down. And we're all walking back to our cars making small talk, you know? I was like, I didn't see any big cuts, did you? I saw a lot of little ones, but that's enough for a lot of blood, right? Maybe they'll be okay. And the ambulances got here quick, thank goodness. You know, maybe get them, take them. And I got into my car, and I began to start it up. Then I stopped, because at that moment, it occurred to me, when that car left the interstate, none of us knew if they were male or female, black or white, gay or straight, atheist or Christian, transgender. They could have been Mormons, for sake. None of us knew anything about these humans. We didn't know anything. We just saw it go and we just ran. And no one was going, I hope they're not gay. If these people are Republicans, I'm turning around. Nobody got to the car, opened the door, and said, sir, I know that you're covered in blood, but we need to know where you stand on immigration reform. The car left the interstate, and 12 human beings' belief systems vanished. Seems to me, this is the best part of us. It's the best part of us, you know? Trouble, run, help. Sat there in my car on the side of the interstate in Nebraska, just thinking about this for probably 30 minutes or more. Just thinking what a beautiful moment that was, you know? I told a friend of mine about it, called her and told her about it. She said those 2 men had guardian angels looking after them. And I deleted her from Facebook. I have no idea if they had guardian angels, but I know one thing for certain. They had 12 humans that cared. Thank you guys for listening tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you very much.
It's really tough for Stuart's closing to that act of his to not hit home a little bit. And that is exactly what the people at New Hope support to do, or they strive to do. They strive to take in those who are in need. Doesn't matter who they are, what they believe, where they've come from. It's just important that they help them get them home. And we need your help. We've got 7 minutes left for you to donate. We've got 2 matchers who are going to match you dollar for dollar up to $2,500 each. And I've got a new total for you right now that doesn't include those matches. And that total we have raised $63,000 thanks to you. We're working on raising more. You've got 6 more minutes where you can call 855-529-6656. You can give through the website newhopeforfamilies.org. You can text New Hope to 202-858-1233. And we ask that you find the generosity in your heart to help bring these people home. Help New Hope bring these people home. Because, Emily, the reality is nobody gave money to me tonight. They never do. They gave money to New Hope because they know the good work that New Hope's doing. Thank you so much. Keep the phone lines ringing. Okay, but I'm going to allow Emily to take you out here with some thank yous and a final thought as we work to help 2 donors match $2,500 apiece.
Thank you. Seth, thank you so much, and thank you for being here tonight. You know, I said before that we've learned not to underestimate this community, but I think maybe we have once again. I want to say, you know, I love Stuart Huff. It's one of my favorite things to go and see him at the Comedy Attic anytime he's here in town. But I especially love that piece from Stuart. And the reason I love it is because it's about taking care of each other. You know, when things get hard, when things get scary, there's a real tendency, there's a real temptation to kind of hunker down and take care of yourself. But the truth is, in those moments are when we most need to take care of each other. And it's easy to see what divides us. But strong communities are the ones who stand with each other through hard times. And that's what this community is here. That's what Bloomington is. That's who you are. And that's why we're so proud and so privileged to be a part of this community and to get to do the work that we do. Thank you. I also want to say some thank yous to some major sponsors tonight. So thank you once again to the Eye Center of Southern Indiana, to Ruoff Mortgage, to Key Auctioneers, who very generously lent us Seth Seaton once again in all his 80s glory. How about that hair, y'all? You know, I got a comment that my bangs weren't big enough, but I can promise Seth isn't getting any criticism on his hair. John Hurlow Wealth Management, Cockrum Commercial, Innovative Financial Solutions, Best Home Furnishings, Tassus, Todd Whitlock Dentistry, John Bethel Title Company, the May Agency, Dave and Liz McCrae. I also want to say thank you to Secretly Canadian, who introduced us to 2 new artists this year and who are great friends to New Hope, and those were Grace Minnick and Stella Donnelly. I want to say thank you to local favorite Clayton Anderson from Lawrence County, as I myself am, I might add. Thanks to him for joining us tonight. And thanks to our long-term, very talented friends, Malcolm Daglish, Stuart Huff, Another Round, and Sylvia McNair. We were so, so grateful for having them here with us tonight. But most of all, I want to say thank you to all of you. You know, we read a handful of gifts tonight. That was the tip of the iceberg for the calls that we received. We are so, so grateful to you. We would not be able to serve these families if it weren't for you. We can't answer the call unless you answer the call. And once again, you have. And once again, I'm going to make the promise to you that I always make. You have put a lot of trust in us, and we promise to uphold that. We promise to serve these families to the best of our ability, and we promise to do our best to make sure that no family in this community ever has to sleep outside with their kids. That's not who we are, that's not who you are, and you're the ones who make that possible. Thank you so, so much. Thank you for being there through a hard year, and thanks for being there tonight. We're still answering the phones. If you haven't made a gift and you really want to, you haven't missed it. You've got another 1.5 minutes left. So go right ahead. We continue to be so grateful. But we cannot tell you how much we have appreciated what you have done for us here this evening and during this difficult year. We hope you and your family and your loved ones stay safe. We hope you and your family and your loved ones are thriving even during this difficult time. Thank you for helping the families who need us most do that.
Emily, I have some really exciting news to share with you.
Okay.
We have exceeded $68,000 tonight with you helping us get to our matches here at the end of the night. We've got another minute and a half left, and we want you to help us break $70,000. And I'm going to do it with you one more time. Call 855-529-6656. There we go. Pick up that phone. Make those phone calls. Give through the website, newhopeforfamilies.org, or text New Hope to 202-858-1233. You're going to get to speak to one of our lovely live telephone operators here. Give them a call. Make them answer the phone. Thank you for answering the call tonight.
Thank you so much, everyone. Looks like Ashley's got a call and Chris has got a call. Somebody better call in so John can talk to somebody. Guys, we are so grateful to you. Thank you for being here this year. Thank you for being here every year. Thanks for being a community we can count on to support the folks who need us the very most, even when things get hard. We don't let anyone fall through the cracks. Thank you, be safe, and good night.